Hi everybody, Bryan here with Antler Creek Wildlife Creations. Today I'm going to work on a antler candle holder. Pretty simple project, but what it accomplishes is shows you how to join a couple antlers together. It's one of the most common questions I get at the shows. Pretty easy, but any instruction helps. So, and I'm going to use here's a candle holder, one that's already finished. Two whitetail antlers on this one, and I have a pretty nice candle cup option here. It's got a solid brass candle cup, and then it's got a brass babochet there for pillar candles if you want to use those. So it gives you the option. Very well detailed. Sign the bottom, patched in the holes. So we'll learn how to do all that, but this is similar to what we're going to make today. Actually using a 2-point muley I found last spring antler hunting. Lucky to find this guy. Just a little tip was sticking out of the snow. Maybe I can insert a picture of how it was laying when I found it in the video. But so we're going to take these two antlers that I cut off and make them into a candle holder. First thing I'm going to do is polish up the ends where I cut them. As you can see, this end, the saw cut is kind of rough, flat. I'm going to polish it up so it looks more like this, a nice rounded polished end. And how I'm going to do that, first step I'm going to do is I'll take a Dremel tool, clean that up, and then I'll polish it with a flapper wheel. So let's do that real fast. Use a 1/2-inch sanding drum on a Dremel tool to take it down a little bit. Then I use a 3M flapper wheel that has the Brillo pad in between it works great for sanding down antlers, tips, rounding things off, because it does a really good job of rounding things. That was a medium wheel. Then I use a drill with a fine wheel on it to finish it up. All right, so we got the ends fixed up. The next step is to lay out our candle holder. One of my rule of thumbs is that basically you want to have your antlers touching in 3 places to make a real solid connection if you're going to join a couple antlers together. And this technique for putting antlers together can be used for any kind of project, wreath, lamp, anything where you want to join antlers together. It works really well. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to position these antlers where I like. I'm going to put one down so it's kind of like a tripod. And I fiddled with this a little bit, and I think I want to add this one just sitting on there, and it's going to touch in 3 places. And then what I'm going to do is, here's my candle cup assembly. I'm going to set that in the middle here. We'll drill that in. So it's going to sit like this. So the first thing I do is I move it around to get it where I want it. And then I take some strapping tape, and you can use any type of masking tape, electrical tape. I like strapping tape because I can rip it in a couple pieces lengthwise, and it holds really well. It's super strong. So I'm just going to tape that on into position. Then I'll take a look at it, see if it's balanced. Kind of want your candle cup to sit over the middle so it doesn't get tippy. I think I'm going to put it like that. So I've got it all taped up. So the next step is I'm going to pre-drill an 1/8-inch hole, and then I'll run a sheetrock screw in there. So I've got an 1/8-inch drill bit. Just make sure when you start with the drill bit, you start slow so that the bit doesn't slip off and run into your finger or something. But antler is fairly easy to drill. It just, you do have to clear your drill bit quite often because it's soft and it tends to plug the drill bit up. So I've got that pre-drilled hole, and I take this one I'll probably use an 1 5/8 inch sheetrock screw. I'm just going to run that screw in there. Don't want to go so far as it comes out the other side, and we'll just leave it sticking out about that far for now. So I'm going to do that 2 more times here on my other joints. And you really do want to try to come out with the drill right where the 2 antlers touch. That way you won't see the screw at all. And one reason I tape these is so I could flip the antlers over and drill from the bottom side. That way it's a little easier to cover our screw hole. Alright, so we've got this thing attached in 3 places. I'm going to cut my tape off. And now we're actually at the point I can drill the hole for the candle cup. And I use a 1/8 IPS nipple on the bottom. And that takes a 1332 drill, just a little bit bigger than the 3/8. So I'm going to position this where I want it. Just looking kind of right over the center right there. I'll just pre-drill a starting hole with that, and then I've got the 1332. Candle cup's going to get glued in right there. But before we do that, we'll go back and I'll show you how to. So we've got these sheetrock screws sticking out. So how I take those off, I use a cutoff wheel and a Dremel tool, that fiberglass type, and they're pretty heavy duty and they work great. All I have to do is score these screws. So I just made a slight cut in them, and grab them with the pliers, and they'll just pop right off. So there you go. We've got this all joined together. Pretty simple. And then I'm going to clean each screw up a little bit, just to get it below the surface of the antler with the Dremel tool. So here's what it looks like, and it's ready to put some epoxy sculpt in there. All right, so let's do the epoxy sculpt. Epoxy sculpt is just a 2-part epoxy putty, and you can get something similar. Any hardware store has some kind of a epoxy putty. Basically comes in 2 parts. We're gonna mix them together. It does help to get your fingers a little wet when you're doing that, so it doesn't stick to your hands. We're going to mix this up until it comes basically one color. Alright, so we got it basically fully mixed there. Now I'm going to take one little trick that helps a lot. Use a little bit of water, then I've got a little bit of antler dust I've saved from all the projects. We're going to put some of that putty on there. We're going to, a little modeling tool, we're going to wet it. And we're just going to push that in. You can use your finger to smooth it out. You basically want it so it's not bulging above the antler. You want it smooth with the antler. So if you look at it from the side, it's not sticking up. And I'm going to take a little bit of antler dust, just rub it in there, makes it accept paint better. And basically you can't hardly see it there. So let me finish the other two here real fast. All right, there we've got our holes patched. So you can't even see it. And actually, if you drilled them correctly, you shouldn't, like where the antlers come together, you shouldn't be able to see the screw if you got it right through where they touch. If you do see a little bit, you can put a little putty in there and then color that in later. So, all right, so our base is pretty well done. So next what we need to do is we need to glue the candle cup on. I use Bondo for that. Just general household Bondo. You can use 5-minute epoxy, that works fine. It's just a little runnier. But this Bondo is something I use a lot and it works great. We just need a small amount of it, so we're going to take just a little bit of it there. And how Bondo works, it's like an epoxy, so you have the Bondo, then we're just going to add a little bit of hardener, just a drop. You can see that, that's about all it, oh, let's see if I can get that focus, all it takes, doesn't take much. Mix the two together. The nice thing about Bondo is it sets up really fast. In about 10 minutes, or if it's warm weather, it'll be even faster. So you got to work pretty quick with it. Mix it good. I'm going to grab a little smaller modeling tool for putting this in place. Another the trick to Bondo also is you want to coat both sides. So I'm going to put some Bondo down in the hole where this is going to sit. Push it into your antler good. Then we're going to put a bunch of, on the 1/8 IPS nipple here, we're going to get the Bondo into the threads on that. Another thing I did I built a lot of candle holders, so I made a little a level block, and my table's level, so I can put this candle cup into the Bondo, and then I'm gonna set the level on it so the whole thing sits level. So I'm just gonna squish that in there, put my level block on it. And this one sitting to the side a little bit, so I'm going to put a piece of tape to hold it in place. It will set up real fast, but there, and level, and we're gonna let this set up, then we're basically about done with it. That's how easy it is to put antlers together and patch the holes and fix them up, so it makes a nice little candle holder. So that should do it. So I hope that helps. Thanks. Here's another shot of the one we just made, and then here's the finished product of another one over here. Nice little candle holder. Here's a couple more photos of the candle holder we just made with both a pillar candle and a taper candle. And then
I'll add a couple photos of some other items that I make using the same technique. So hope this helps. Enjoy. Thanks.